Alright guys, this is Alan recording a best out of 1 ranked core set 2020 draft video in a couple of hours tomorrow, and then 15 hours, maybe around 2 days, we're going to have Throne of Eldraine as our ranked draft, but let's get started. Alright, so pack 1, pick 1, what are we looking at? Some fine cards are rare. I wouldn't really ever consider. Just double white, it's fine, but this card can be quite situational due to the fact that it's much better if you get 2 target permanents that were put into the graveyard at the same turn. Sure, you can maybe fetch out 1 card that gets killed and you can bring it back and it enters the battlefield tapped, but most likely I don't think that makes a significant difference. Double white can be a little bit hard to pull off, and it's more of a reactive spell, nothing too proactive. White tends to be an aggressive color in this format, therefore you tend to be attacking. Sure, maybe you can trade off a card, cast brought back, and put it back into the battlefield, which is kind of annoying, but I don't think the power level of this is too high, to be honest. And it is quite situational to pull off. It can run into some awkward situations where there are 2 permanents that you don't really want to put back in the battlefield, and maybe there's some tokens that really don't work well with this card, or this can just get stuck in your hand for the most part. And the opponent might just have a nice wall that's blocking your creature, and so I mean this card I just feel is just too situational to pull off, and white is not the strongest color. The best cards in this pack overall, I'm looking at Scholar of Ages, which is an excellent card in the blue-black archetype, simply because the best removal is in black, and black tends to have instants and sorceries as their form of removal. What else? Vengeful War Chief is okay. Overcome is great in a go wide archetype. There's Boreal Elemental as a nice evasive flyer for 5 mana. Then there is Outrage, which is a powerful removal spell. 4 mana instant speed, deal 4 damage to a target creature and dealing 2 to a creature's controller. 4 damage can pretty much handle most of the creatures in this format. The upside of dealing 2 to the opponent is quite relevant too in an aggressive deck, or if you're looking to finish the opponent. And then there's Rabbit Bite, which is a solid removal spell, but does require you to have a Death Toucher onto the battlefield or a high power creature. So I mean, looking at this pack, I think overall these 4 cards tend to stand out more than the rest. Rabbit Bite takes a little bit of work to get going. Usually the creatures in green do have high power, but it can get stuck in your hand if you don't have a creature with enough higher power to deal with another opponent's creature. Boramento is a fine evasive flyer, but I don't think I want to take it over Chandra's Outrage. Outrage is just an efficient removal spell, and sometimes it's preferable to take the efficient removal spell over the evasive win condition in limited, simply because removal doesn't seem to flow a lot, and sometimes you would rather just have the removal spell over the evasive threat, and you tend to have enough creatures in limited to close out the game anyways. Therefore, taking the removal spell is much more important since it's much more scarce compared to the efficient win condition. Other than that, now Chandra's Outrage versus Scholar of Ages. Scholar of Ages takes a little bit more build around. It is also quite expensive compared to Chandra's Outrage. This card excels more in a control, in a blue-black rather than blue-red. Blue-red tends to be aggressive and they want to keep their curve pretty low, while black-blue tends to be more controlling, which they're planning to stall out into late game, in which Scholar of Ages excels more at. So Scarlet Aegis is kind of a commitment towards 2 colors off the bat already, and in the pack 1 pick 1, you tend to want to take the most flexible, and the most powerful card in the pack. So yeah, I think I'm liking Outrage over the other 3 cards here in this pack. Don't think anything really stands out. The double red is a bit of a problem, but we can usually get there at 4 mana. Just killing off a creature that's trying to pump itself to get across, or an annoying bomb is just what we're looking for the most part. So yeah, let's just take an Outrage as our pick 1 pack 1 and move on. Alright, followed up with Chandra's Outrage. What do we have? Vengeful Warchief. Again, I think it's an okay 5-drop. Nothing too special. This card can get out of hand if it has 2 counters. 1 counter is okay, but 5 mana is quite expensive for the most part. You can easily get rushed down by evasive flyers, or the opponent can just get your life points pretty low. In that case, casting this for 5 mana doesn't really do much other than being a blocker. This is a strange card in the fact that it's not in black-red. You tend to want to be more aggressive, and I mean, a 5 mana 4/4 is still fine, but the ability works better if you're kind of behind and the opponent is pinging you, so you can grow the Vengeful Warchief. Still a good card with the Audacious Thief if you can pick up some cards, but again, it doesn't really have any evasion. Evasion is kind of bad against if the opponent array has flyers out, and growing this seems pretty slow. So I think this card's okay. The only comment that tends to stand out is Sleep Paralysis, which is probably the best card in this pack overall. It's a decent removal spell. Sure, it can run into the issue of having the opponent bounce the creature back, or if they are somehow weird enough to play Enchantment Destruction in this format. But other than that, this tends to resolve pretty nicely. 4 mana is kind of expensive, but again, we're already playing Chandra's Outrage at 4 mana. I think it's the best choice compared to his other pack. I mean, these 3 cards are the only cards I would even consider. Fire Elemental tends to wheel. It's not really a card I'm high on. I mean, it can be okay as a curve topper, but the 4 toughness gets traded off and it's quite expensive. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Sleep Paralysis. Is it possible that we give up? It gives us the flexibility and option in case that red is not open, that blue is much more open than red, vice versa. But other than that, Sleep Paralysis puts us in a nice Izzet archetype, red-blue. So we can try to gear ourselves towards an aggressive blue-red deck. So yeah, let's take the Sleep Paralysis and move on. Right, follow up with Sleep Paralysis and Chandra's Outrage. We have some decent cards as well. There's an Uncaged Fury as a decent combat trick, and a Blowout in case the opponent doesn't block our high-powered creature. Does take a bit of work to get around, but usually in red, you tend to be aggressive, and this can lead to some blowouts that the opponent might not expect. And in red, in red in M20, it tends to be quite aggressive. So Uncaged Fury is a fine one of to have, but you can usually win the game without it. Scuttlemutt is okay, just a fine card if we're looking to ramp, splash a different color, but I can pass up on this. Other than that, Griffin Protector is a fine evasive 4-drop. That puts us in another 3rd color. We can still be white, red, Jeskai splashing the blue for Sleep Paralysis. But I think I would rather prefer the Pacifism over the Griffin Protector anyways. If I'm moving into white, there's a Miscreant if we want to keep collecting them, but I don't think that's the goal. And the best card overall in this pack is either between Pacifism or Lavakin Brawler. And given that we're red, I think I'm just going to lean towards the Lavakin Brawler instead of speculating towards a 3rd color, which makes our draft... It can give a bit more flexibility in our draft, but then again, it makes drafting a little bit more awkward with the fact that we might end up maybe drafting around 4 colors, and we're never going to end up with a primary color in the pack, in our pack 1, and that can be quite a nuisance. So now, yeah, I think I prefer Lavakin Brawler over Reduced to Ashes. Reduced to Ashes is a fine removal spell, but given that we have double removal spell already, I think I'm more leaning towards the attacker, the win condition being the Lavakin Brawler. Reduced to Ashes is fine, but the sorcery speed can be quite a liability. The 5 mana can be quite expensive and clunky as well, due to the fact that the opponent can be just outracing you and you're behind and you have a Reduced to Ashes stuck in your hand, and you have to use a 5 mana removal spell on a small creature that's pinging you to death, such as a flyer. So yeah, I'm not high on Reduced Ashes. I prefer multiple Lavakin Brawlers compared to the Reduced Ashes. So really, I think the options is just between these 3 cards. I think Lavakin Brawler makes more sense over the Uncaged Fury. In Limited, you tend to want a bunch of creatures onto the battlefield over the one combat trick. Uncaged Fury can be a bit problematic. For example, you're not being aggressive enough. You might have to use this as a combat trick to trade off to 2-for-1 yourself on an opposing creature. Sure, it has the situational bonus of getting a favorable trade, but at the end of the day, you want to be more consistent and reliable. In that case, you rather just have a better removal spell over the Uncaged Fury. But then again, Uncaged Fury can lead to some blowouts, but I think the upside of having Lavakin Brawler is just better, given that we're ready in red. And I don't want to abandon Chandra's Outrage, simply because it's a powerful removal spell. The pacifism, if Lavakin Brawler wasn't in this pack, I would maybe just consider the pacifism over the Uncaged Fury, due to the fact that I might just prefer to be a little bit more flexible and probably move into 3 colors, with either splashing the white or the blue as a 3rd color, if Lavakin was in this pack. But I think the power level of Lavakin is high enough that I'm just going to take it here, keep ourselves in red, and not pivot too far off into a 3rd color. So yeah, I would prefer Lavakin over Reduced to Ashes, just because of the logic that I just stated in the other sentence. And I would prefer Lavakin over Uncaged Fury, just to have a solid playable. And it's hard to find efficient playables, and Lavakin Brawler does fit the bill of being a very powerful 4-drop to cast. So yeah, let's just take the Lavakin Brawler here, and hopefully we're not missing out on anything. Like, I can see myself winning without the Uncaged Fury if we just flood the board with a bunch of evasive and powerful attackers, and we don't really need the Uncaged Fury to blow out and win the game. It's not really a good card to play defensive at all. Let's say you're behind, you have Uncaged Fury stuck in your hand. It's not really a good card to play, to be honest. And it's only good in a situation that you're being aggressive, so it's quite situational that I rather just prefer the Lavakin Brawler here. So let's just take it. Alright, follow up with our Lavakin Brawler. What cards stand out in this pack? Just some okay cards, to be honest. I think the best card in this pack overall is just an Unsummon. Nice interactive spell in blue. Can save our creature to re-trigger and enter the battlefield effect again. Can bounce back an opponent's creature to maybe deal some damage. Brinewood Cutthroat is not a card I'm pretty high on, simply because of the 1 toughness. Sure, you can probably put a counter on it, but then again, a 3 mana 3/2 doesn't really trade too well against opposing 2-power creature that the opponent can easily place onto the battlefield. And I don't really want to keep a bunch of instant speed cards in my hand just to grow this card by a couple of counters, because I tend to just want to cast my instant speed anyways before this even resolves into the battlefield. What's fine in red? There's Infuriates, which is okay in red. There's also Bone Splinters, in case we might want to move into black-red, but you do need a lot of sacrifice fire for this to be efficient, because you're going to end up 2-for-1ing yourself at the end of the day. Loyal Pegasus is an evasive, fine, okay 1-drop, but it tends to suck unless you're being super aggressive. In Boros, you do tend to be aggressive, but Yeah, I would rather this card. If you play this card on turn 1, we don't have anything to follow up and attack with. It can kind of suck, but it's a fine card overall. Um, so what am I looking at in this pack? I think it's just a debate between Infuriate and Unsummon, to be honest. Everything else seems kind of meh, filler, mediocre. Um, so between Infuriate and Unsummon, which one do I prefer? I think I prefer the Unsummon over the Infuriate. Like, Infuriate does put us in red much more heavily, but this card tends to wheel, and I mean, it's a fine combat trick to have, nothing special, but I think the Unsummon just has more upside that I'm just going to take it, given that we already have a sleep paralysis in blue. So let's think here. Yeah, probably just the Unsummon here. I can't go wrong with it. Just the most powerful card in this pack. And we move into Izzet. It's totally serviceable. Infuriate is also fine as well, but I think it's slightly less powerful than Unsummon. I'm just going to take it. Yeah, let's just take it. Alright, now there is the colors where we're looking at. There's a fine serviceable Ember Cat, which is a decent 2-drop. It's a good 2-drop in red simply because of the fact that it helps ramp out Lavakin Brawlers on 4. And it's hard to find X serviceable 2-drops in limited. I'm just going to take it here. Otherwise, we can either move into white or black, which these cards are kind of mediocre anyways. So yeah, easy Ember Cat. Seems like red is going to just be our primary color from now. We might have missed out on Infuriate, but that's okay. We can always pick up one later in the future packs, and we can win without it, so easy Ember Cat. Now what? Nothing much. I guess I can take a Ripscale Predator as a curve topper. There's a Fencing Ace as an okay 2-drop, but nothing too special. There's a Vile Dragonfire in case we open up a weaponsmith. But this pack seems pretty mediocre. We have no reason to move into white, to be honest, and we can pick up enough red 2-drops that Fencing Ace and the rest of these other cards are pretty useless. So let's just take the Ripscale Predator, get a 6-drop here. Now what are we looking at? The Miscreant thing can work out. We pick up a multiple copies of these. Other than that, these are just kind of mediocre again. Is it possible that we move in the green that we might just take a Mammoth Spider or a Brightwood Tracker? Possibly. But given that we're already in blue, I kind of want to speculate on Miscreants. This card can get out of hand if you have like a million copies of these. I think I prefer this over the other the other cards such as Battalion, Foot Soldier, or Undead Servant, just because this is an evasive threat on one, and it replaces itself if you have multiple copies of these. Otherwise, Anticipate is filler. Don't really care. Given that we're kind of in blue already, I think I want to pick up a Miscreant and go from here. So yeah, let's just take it. Now what? Bird Grabber is fine if we have enough flyers. It's not really high pick, to be honest. I can just give up on this anytime. I guess we can take an Axe. We can speculate on Axe if that's okay. Other than that, we have some okay green cards. There's a Soul Salvage in case we move into blue. I think the Axe is serviceable enough that I can just take it here. In red, blue, you tend to have a decent number of flyers that the Axe can just be a fine card to take. So yeah, not a big fan of this card anyways. It's 1 toughness, and we haven't picked up any flyers to give it flying. The rest of these green cards, I mean, there's Worst Claw as a curve topper. I mean, I guess I'm speculating Soul Salvage in case we move into black. I think that has more upside if we move into Rakdos. I mean, Axes tend to wheel anyways, and we can win without it. So sure, let's speculate on the Soul Salvage. Okay, now what? I guess there's an Octoprophet if we want to stake in blue. There's a Fanfleet Cutthroat, which is excellent in aggressive black-red deck. What else? I guess Thicket Crasher is fine if we are looking to go red-green. So a lot of options here. Given that we have Sleep Paralysis and Summon, I think we might just want to stick with Izzet and speculate on Octoprophet. Everything else here is fine and serviceable. I mean, I guess I can try to pivot into Fanfleet Cutthroat in case we move into Rakdos. In that case, it's pretty decent since we're being pretty aggressive. But yeah, it can go either way here in this pack. I think I'm fine with Octoprophet maybe on 4. I mean, it's replaceable. Maybe there's more upside moving to black that I can just take a Fanfleet Cutthroat. So, yep, let's take a Cutthroat. Kind of go 50-50 in the black and 50-50 in the red. Now I can take a Fire Elemental as a filler 5 drop. Don't hate it. Yep. I'm not a big fan of the mill strategy, especially if we're ready in red. I'd rather just be aggressive. Dagger Sail can be fine. Little Pegasus can be fine for moving to Boros. Okay, so now we're moving into the second pack. What are we looking for? I guess we have red as our primary color now. And we're moving between black and blue. There's a possibility that green could have been open and we could have taken green, but I think Fanfleet Cutthroat and Soul Salvage have a lot more upside that over the green cards that I pivoted towards black a little bit more than green, but other than that, I think we could have had a decent Izzet deck by now, but you never know what the second color is, and I want to keep my options open in case we open another powerful bomb in the second pack, so yeah, let's move on. Right, now this pack, what are we looking at? There's a Ley Line, which isn't great. God's Willing is great. Excellent card in white, but we have no reason to take it up. There's an Unchained Berserker as a decent 2-drop. Frostlinks is decent as well. Fanfleet Cutthroat is decent. Lavakin Brawler is great in multiples. So this pack overall isn't that exciting. I think Shock and God's Willing are the best cards in this pack by far. But the upside of these cards aren't that high that I wouldn't mind taking a fine playable. I think I want to stick with red for now, simply because of the fact that we just might miss out on these powerful red cards anyways. And I think I'm just leaning towards Shock as an efficient removal spell that keeps us in red. Other than that, if there wasn't Shock in this pack, I'd probably just follow up with more Lavakin Brawlers just to have a heavy beatdown aggressive deck. And we're looking to be aggressive anyways. Frostlinks would have been fine, Unchained Berserker would have been fine, but I think it's an easy Shock here to keep us in red. Just another fine efficient removal spell in case we need it. Okay, happy to open up a Chandra's Novice Pyromancer. Now, there's also Chandra's Outrage in this pack, which is very powerful as well. So it's just between these two, honestly. I don't think we want to move into Season of Growth, otherwise there's another Sleep Paralysis, so that will keep us in Izzet. But I think the power level of these two cards are much more significantly higher that I don't need to care about the green or the blue card in this pack. So it's a debate against these two, and I think they're both similar in power level. The Chandra's Novice Pyromancer has a little bit more upside, I think, because we might just be going elemental heavy, that the plus ability can be relevant. It can also ramp out our red cards as well. Great card mono red as well, and the -2 might be less relevant than the deal 4, but you can still bank on the fact that the opponent has some low toughness creatures that you just might want to ping off with the -2 ability. And you can -2 twice as well, so I think I'm leaning towards the Novice Pyromancer. Other than that, I wouldn't mind a second Outrage. The Outrage can be used once, and then it's gone. Still very powerful, but I think if we can resolve Chandra onto the battlefield with a bunch of elementals, and just keep plussing this ability, that it can have a little bit more upside over the Chandra's Outrage in the long run. So yeah, let's just take the Chandra.
I don't know what I'm doing here, but it's gonna be
keep
fun.
ourselves in red. Okay, I'm happy to pick up an Audacious Thief. A good reason to move into black now. Other than that, there's an Unchained Berserker as a decent 2-drop that we might need, but it's a crappy blocker for the most part. Sometimes the opponent can have a 1 toughness creature, and this does absolutely nothing. The protection from white is a bit of a high roll, but I think the best card in this pack is overall Audacious Thief, followed by Griffin Protector, and then maybe the Unchained Berserker. So yeah, I'm happy moving the black, and luckily we did pick up a Soul Salvage and Found Fleet Cutthroat in our pack 1 pick 1 to give us some hope that black is open. So yeah, let's just take it here. Alright, well, there is a Creeping Trailblazer, which is a busted card in red green, and it's the most powerful card in this pack, so I might just gamble on it. Other than that, there's another Cutthroat, which can be serviceable, another Unsummoned, but we already have one. There's a Goblin Smuggler, which is excellent, as well as a powerful 3-drop, which can give our 2-drop 2 power creatures evasion. But given that this is already the 5th pick in this pack, and that Creeping Trailblazer's open, that I might just speculate on red-green. This is a powerful busted card in red-green. I still don't know otherwise there's a safer pick with the Goblin Smuggler, but I think I want to take a risk with the Creeping Trailblazer because it has a lot more upside if we can play this in a red-green deck. The power level is significantly higher than Goblin Smuggler. That I'm just going to take it here. And over the other 2 options. So yeah, let's just take Creeping Trailblazer. Alright, now what? There's a Woodland Champion. If we generate a crap load of tokens, and it's possible in red-green to make a bunch of token generators with Scampering Scorcher and the Rapacious Dragon at 5. But this tends to excel better in a white-green deck overall. And anyways, even if you cast this on 2, I mean a 2-mana 2/2 is fine, but it's nothing special. Let's think here. Don't think I need another Soul Salvage in case we're moving to black. Don't think I need Evolving Wilds. I don't think I really want to splash in the red aggressive deck, to be honest. Given the fact that we just want to cast our mana reliably on curve. Splashing can be quite a nuisance. Like, I can splash for the sleep paralysis, but come on. I'd rather just play everything out on curve and beat down the opponent. I think the best card for us overall in this pack is just the Infuriate. I'm not a big fan of the Scorch Spitter. It works well with the Goblin Smugglers, but we haven't picked up any. It does go well with the Creeping Trailblazers, however. Playing this on 1 and then playing the Creeping Trailblazer on 2 can be busted, but these tend to wheel. So now what? Let's think. Blood-Soaked Altar is better in a controlling late-game deck in black. Don't think we're taking it. Doesn't work well in our archetype, especially if it requires a lot more sack fodder. Woodland Champion, again, the only 2 cards that synergize it in red is probably the Acolyte, the Teenage Pyromancer, which isn't a good card in limited anyways, the Rapacious Dragon and Scampering Scorcher. I would play this card if we already have that in the deck, but anyway, I don't want to just build around this. Even though it's a fine serviceable 2-drop, I'd rather just keep ourselves in red and another color. So, yeah, I think it's Infuriate and Scorch Spitter. I mean, having our first Scorch Spitter can be fine, but these tend to get stonewalled pretty easily. It's great with Creeping Trailblazer, but we don't even know if we're moving the green at all. Yeah, let's just take the Infuriate as a fine combat trick or finisher. Keeps us in red. Okay, happy Vanilla Lavakin Brawler. There's a Thicket Crasher, which is fine, moves us into green. Also a Bone Splinters, but we haven't picked up enough Sacrifice Fire to justify it. I think I'm just happy sticking with red. I think Lavakin Brawler has a little bit more upside than the Thicket Crasher, that I'm just going to take it. Definitely a powerful 4-drop, keeps us flexible. We could just go mono red for the most part, if we can't pick our second color. But yeah, Lavakin Brawler in multiples is pretty busted. Especially if you pick up a lot of elementals. So yeah, easy Lavakin Brawler. Now nothing much. Don't know if I'm playing a second Fire Elemental. I think is a little bit of overkill. Not a big fan of this card. It gets pretty expensive. There's nothing else I would rather have in this pack. I think the ship on white has sailed, so I can just take a Greenwood Sentinel in case we don't get a 2-drop. And in case we move into green. Happy with a Shock. Looks like red is the open color and we're in the right colors. There's another Fairy Miscreant, but I'm not going to take it over a Shock. If Shock was in this pack, I would probably just take a Mask as an okay 2-drop and an Elemental to buff up the Lavakin Brawler or to ping off an opposing 1-drop such as Spectral Sailor. So yeah, easy shock. Alright, happy with a Unchained Berserker. There's also a bow in case we open up a weaponsmith on pack 2, but we have no reason to move into blue at all. So yeah, just take a Unchained Berserker. Now we can take a bow in case we open up a weaponsmith. Alright, another 5-drop for the sideboard. Nothing else. Ooh, Goblin Smuggler, that wield. So yeah, red is definitely the right color to be in. We don't really know the second color to move it towards, but I'm happy staying red. Now we can take our Squirt Spitter. Maybe Barony Vampire. Okay, third pack, what we're looking to do, we can pretty much play a mono red deck and draft towards it and cut the rest of these colors. But I'm happy solidifying into a second color by now. I'm happy with a lot more Goblin Smugglers, maybe another Creeping Trailblazer to move into green. But for the most part, I'm happy that we stuck to red. Alright, so third pack, what are we looking at? Well, we open up a weaponsmith, and given that we're blue, it can pretty much be just a pick here. We didn't draft enough bows yet, but it can be pretty powerful. I don't think we're going with the Wake Root Elemental plan, even though it's a card in green. I really don't want to play a 6-mana 5/5. I'd rather just play a 6-mana 6/5 at the end of the day with Menace. I don't think we're going to get there with the 5 green lands anyways. So probably going to say no to this. There's a Barkai Troll, which is an excellent 2-drop, but it does require double green. We're already going heavy red, so we might not get the double green in the early game at all. So this is a hard pack, to be honest. I would take the Weaponsmith over the Metropolis Sprites. Don't think I need an Unsummon. Or we can just stick with Rev, the Goblin Smuggler. These do get crazy in multiples. If we take the Weaponsmith, what happens? We need to pick up a lot more bows to get it going, and we just picked up 1. It can keep us open with blue with the Unsummon and the Sleep Paralysis, which is fine. But at the end of the day, we need to really draw this on 2 to make this even serviceable, remotely serviceable. I think, given that we don't really know our second colors, I think I'm happy with a second Goblin Smuggler. Just casting these more consistently on 3 to give us a win condition is great, given that we have a bunch of 2-drops, 2 power creatures to get through. And I think it makes more sense in this deck anyways. We're just looking to play a bunch of creatures to curve out and beat down the opponent. We don't necessarily need bows to win the game, to be honest, and we can just play a bunch of creatures to run over the opponents, and that's our strategy. If Goblin Smuggler was in this pack, I would consider maybe the Barkai Troll or the Renowned Weaponsmith anyways. I think Renowned Weaponsmith has a lot more higher power upside, but given that we're being aggressive, maybe Barkai Troll is just better for our deck in the long run. So yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Goblin Smuggler here. Keep ourselves in 1 color. Okay, well, I'm happy seeing a Spectral Sailor, but there's also some excellent red cards too. I don't mind a second, third Lavakin Brawler, but it's getting pretty high on our curve. There's also an Ember Cat, which I don't mind. Can easily ramp out our elementals. Excellent 2-drop that keeps us in red. Spectral Sailor is definitely a more powerful card. So is there a chance we move into blue? I mean, there is. We do have Unsummon and Sleep Paralysis as kind of our combat tricks. I don't think we're going to get there with the Miscreant. The problem with Spectral Sailor is that it's not a very good aggressive card, to be honest. It fits better in a late game or mid-range deck where you can flash this in the late game and draw a bunch of cards and win from there. It's definitely much more powerful than the Ember Cat, but given that we pretty much have our archetype figured out, I think I'm just leaning towards the Ember Cat as just a solid 2-drop that can ramp into our big elemental creatures. Plus, it already synergizes with Chandra and Creeping Trailblazer and the Lavakin Brawler that I might just take it here. And given that we're aggressive, I think we just want to cast our early drops consistently on curve. Otherwise, I might just take the Lavakin Brawler over the Spectral Sailor. I really don't think we need a second color. We can just be mono red at this point. Like, I do miss out on an Unsummon and a Sleep Paralysis, but those are just okay cards. okay removal spells. And Summon doesn't even remove a creature, to be honest. Sleep Paralysis might, but it's kind of clunky, to be honest. So yeah, I think we can stick with mono red. Keep ourselves with Chandra's Embercat, or we can move into green with the Creeping Trailblazer. And now what? Maybe Scuttlemutt as a fine 3-drop to help us ramp. Or Thicket Crasher. I mean, we do have a Creeping Trailblazer to kind of incentivize us to move into green. I'm not really that high on Scuttlemutt. Scuttlemutt can help us ramp, but we already have Chandra's Embercat to ramp our elementals out anyways. I don't really care. I don't really care about the splash color of this card anyways. Sanitarium Skeleton doesn't look too great. Yeah, I think it's fine taking a Thicket Crasher. Can't speculate on red-green. I do like Creeping Trailblazer. I think it's pretty busted if we can get going. And I don't think I need a second Fire Elemental, given that I have 2 already in the deck. So, yeah, Thicket Crasher seems pretty synergistic with the Lavakin Brawlers that I'm just going to take it here. Alright, now what? Do we regret moving into green? I guess we have a solid flyer in 5 that the Boreal Elemental is serviceable. We can also take up a second Sleep Paralysis in case we move into blue. There's also a tap land to splash for the Creeping Trailblazer, but I really don't want to splash this card. I really just want to cast this on curve, exactly on 2. So let's see. Let's put the blue cards back into our deck. And what are we looking at? I guess a Sleep Paralysis and then Summon can be fine. So yeah, so what are we looking for? I think we have enough attackers that I don't really think Boreal Elemental fits the bill. Meteor Golem can keep us in red, but it's really goddamn expensive that I'd rather just keep our curve low and aggressive for the most part. Even in Izzet, I think we want to keep ourselves aggressive. So I think the Sleep Paralysis is the pick here if we don't pick up enough green playables and we just move back into blue. Sometimes you just need the removal spell. I might play the second Fire Elemental and maybe cut the Ripscale Predator to keep our curve low. But there's no real good red cards here. I don't really want to move into blue, red, splashing the Creeping Trailblazer, given that this is a card I just wanted to cast exactly on 2. So I guess it's kind of a gamble between blue, red, and blue, green right now. I think we have enough curve toppers that we don't need to play the Boreal Elemental, even though the Boreal Elemental is a better card compared to Fire Elemental. And I don't think we really want to keep our curve as a 7-drop. We don't want to keep a clunky 7-drop in our hand, given that we're trying to be low and aggressive to the ground. So I'm just going to take an Unsummon here, just in case you move into Izzet. Alright, now what? There's another Embercat as a okay 2-drop. So let's see. Let's move our interaction spells over to one side. I guess this consideration is just for curve purposes, whether I want the Embercat or the Lavakin. I think the ship on black has sailed for the most part. Like, let's say we move into black again. We have a Cutthroat, we have an Audacious Thief, and we have a Soul Salvage. Like, again, we can move into black-red, but given that we have some good cards in green and blue already, maybe we just don't want to risk it and maybe just have more playables consistently. So how good is the Chandra's Embercat? How good is our 2-drop? I guess it's an upgrade over the Greenwood Sentinel. So let's say we cut the Greenwood Sentinel. We could use another 2-drop to ramp into our big elemental creatures. Does help us ramp out our 4-drops. Our 4-drops are looking kind of stacked, and we don't... I mean, Lavakin Brawler is serviceable, but I think in a limited deck, we just want a million 2-drops and some curve toppers. And Embercat just fits the bill nicely, so we'll just take it. I guess we can take a Netcaster Spider in case we're moving to red. Do I really need a Keldon Raider? Keldon Raider is okay, I guess. I guess there's a debate again against blue and green. Do I want to stick with green or blue? Which one do we prefer? I don't think we're moving to black anytime soon, so forget about black. Don't think I need the Heart Piercer Bow. I think we've given up on that already. Like, we can be a pretty aggressive Izzet deck or an aggressive green-red deck. Which one works better? If we move into blue, we have double sleep paralysis, and an unsummon as some nice removal cards, and then we can just beat down the opponent from there on. If we move into green and take the Netcaster Spire, we have a Thicket Crasher and a Creeping Trailblazer. As some fine cards, we can trample over the Thicket Crasher and have a nice beefy 2-drop that can pump itself and win the game. Which one do I prefer? Maybe the one with a lot more removal, given that removal is scarce and limited. The removal interaction spells that we have are Chandra's Outrage, Double Sleep Paralysis, Shock, and Unsummon. If we move to green, what do we lose out on? We move out on some removal, but I think we have better creatures overall. What are we looking for in this deck? I think we might just be looking for more removal compared to the aggressive creatures. Like, our creatures are pretty solid. We can just win the game with the red creatures by itself. That maybe we're just looking for removal to tap down the opponent's creatures and to punch in for a lot of damage, and therefore Frostlings fits the bill quite nicely. Netcaster Spire is fine, but yeah, I think we need more removal overall, and Frostlings is just better. Well, I guess we can take a second Unsummon. I mean, there's a Mammoth Spider, but it's an okay 5-drop as a blocker against flyers. So, I think the ship on sail, green has sailed by now. That I think we just want to stick with the Izzet colors. Another Unsummons fine. Serviceable, can bounce back a creature into their hand, can save one of our creatures, can pretty much allow us to push in for lethal. So yeah, I like the Unsummon over the Digger and the Act of Treason. Yeah, totally serviceable. Just take it here. Alright, guess we can try main deck a Convolute. There is Evolving Wilds that can help us fix our mana, so maybe that's just a pick here. We already have these as our Curve Toppers. Convolute doesn't look like a Convolute deck, to be honest. We're looking to be more aggressive and less controlling. So yeah, let's just take Evolving Wilds. Ooh, Renowned Weaponsmith. I guess we can tech in the bow now for the Renowned Weaponsmith. Other than that, there's second Scorch Spitter. I think the upside of Renowned Weaponsmith is higher than Scorch Spirit. I'm just going to take it here. Given that we have one bow, we can probably pick up a bow again in the final packs. I think I'm willing to gamble the Renowned Weaponsmith. Other than that, Scorch Spitter is okay. I mean, I could take a Scorch Spitter as another early drop to race down the opponent. But we can win without it. Yeah, sure, let's take the Weaponsmith. Okay, now Stone Golem that we can ramp out, and that Sage's Road Denizen as a fine blocker. I don't care about the Stone Golem at this point. I think I'm just going to take a Sage's Row. Okay, think we're being aggressive. Mo Piranhas. Okay, I think even without the Weaponsmith synergy, I think we got there on playables that we don't really need to play it. I don't think we need the bow package, to be honest. So 2 cuts, Weaponsmith is an easy cut. We have some nice ramp creatures. Denizens is a nice easy cut. Okay, so nice 17 land aggressive deck. With Shock, Double Unsummon, Sleep Paralysis, and Outrage as our interactive spells. Infuriate as a fine Curve Topper, some way to close out. I think we're going to be heavy red compared to blue. So maybe 9/7's okay. I could go down an extra island, to be honest. Like 18 and 5, I can see myself going 6 and 10, perhaps. Like, we really don't have any 2 blue drops. Unsummon is something that you want to cast in the late game anyways. So we do need double red for the Outrage. We need double red for the Fire Elementals. Double red for the Ripscale Predators. Yeah, I think it's fine. Maybe it's fine just going 9/7. I really don't want to miss my islands. It could be wrong due to the fact that we might end up drawing islands in the early game and we have nothing on red to cast. In that case, we just want to cast a million red cards consistently. Like, do I care about playing Frostlings on 3? Maybe, but it's not a big deal. Or Sleep Paralysis or Unsummon. So yeah, I think we can go low on the islands and stick with 11 red sources and 7 blue sources. Now, what? So going over his deck, I think this is just a 17 land easy Izzet deck. There's a possibility that I might cut a fire elemental, but it does synergize with Embercat well as a ramp card. None of these blue drops seem pretty interesting at all. It's a possibility that we could move into red-green, but given that removal is a lot more important, I think having blue was better. So yeah, let's just run this draft, see how well it performs. Alright, so yeah, I'm liking this hand, Evolving Wilds to fetch an island, but I just like our 1-drop and the 2-drop, to be honest, so I can smork out the opponent. Goblin Smuggler to give these 2 cards evasion, yeah, I'm liking this. Alright, turn 1, Scorch Spitter. I like being low on blue, simply because of the fact that a lot of our blue cards are just interaction spells that we don't need to cast on curve. Alright, I think I'm just going to attack. You could have raised the alarm, but I don't think I'd play around it. I want to risk it. Maybe deal 2. So he doesn't have raised the alarm. Let's resolve an Embercat. Next turn, play out this Goblin Smuggler. Smack the opponent for a lot of damage. Well, I mean, I can't cast it because I need to cast Evolving Wilds. But I think the Embercat makes sense. Now I can easily shock this. Well, I can just play the... So, 2 choices here. I can play an island, unsummon, or I can just shock this off the bat and attack in. Or I can play Goblin Smuggler, give something evasion, and attack in for 2. I think it's better to just shock it right away. Simply because I don't want to give a counter to any of the creatures that can be annoying blockers. Play out the Evolving Wilds and attack. End of turn we search out a mountain. Maybe an island perhaps. Yeah, island should be fine. Okay. The reason I want to go island is maybe I can double spell blue, I can drop a Frostlinks and unsummon at the same time. It's probably not a good play for next turn, but I think I should have enough red to cast both red cards in my hand anyway, so yeah, let's just sacrifice here. I don't think he's going to play anything colorless, so yeah, let's get on island. Do I want to unsummon here? Maybe. Put him up behind, pushing for a lot of damage. So what can I do here? I can unsummon and push in a lot of damage. I think that just might be the play here. It might not be lethal, but I want to put in as much damage as possible, given that this deck. And I think pushing for 6 this turn is just powerful enough that I just want to set them back with the unsummon. Okay, gain the life. Next turn is easy. Goblin Smuggler. Actually, I can just trade 2 drops. I can offer a trade with the Goblin Smuggler, but I think it's more important in the late game. Given that if this isn't available and he puts out a blocker, I won't be able to give anything evasion to attack in for a bunch of damage. So now opponent has to decide. He's probably going to recast his 3-drop to try to block. Okay, Inspiring Captain. So this stone walls us effectively, but I do like the outrage. Yeah, I think I can easily just outrage here and push in for more damage than necessary. And next turn should be lethal after Scorch Bitter attack, unless he heals for a bunch. So yeah, limited can be pretty stupid sometimes. In M20 aggro is pretty much the way to go. There's definitely some control decks, but aggro definitely excels at everything. He doesn't get any life. You could just play a 2-drop, but this doesn't have any life gain, so I think it's game over here. This just triggers and kills him off. Yep. So Ripscale Predator was stuck in our hand for a lot of turns, so I might consider cutting it. But is there anything that I should really cut it for? I don't. The weaponsmith doesn't have any synergy. Fairy Miscreant is a crappy one-drop. Mo Piranhas is more for defense against ground creatures. Sage's Row is just a dumb blocker on 3. Renowned Weaponsmith doesn't do much. So yeah, I think we want to risk it. I don't really want to cut this for Prismite, so yeah. Let's keep this train rolling. Alright, I like this hand. If we top deck a 1-drop, I'm definitely playing the Mountain out. If not, yeah, Evolving Wilds is okay. Yeah, let's just get out the Evolving Wilds. Do I search on Island? Perhaps, because we have more mountains than islands anyways, so yeah. I think I'm down. And we could just double spell in the late game, and we need the double blue. Now what do I play? If I play Ember Cats, I could top deck a Lavakin and ramp it out. If not, I can play it next turn. I think the Berserker is worth it. I'm just going to cast it here. This 3 power is pretty relevant. It's not a good blocker, but I can see the attacking through for a lot. So yeah, it sucks against Raise the Alarm. So that's kind of bad for us. Would have been a fine attacker anyways. Would have been fine playing the Ember Cat anyways. Not really. They can just double trade into it. Do I want to tap this flyer down? Probably not. I think I want to save the tapper and just play Ember Cat, play Lancet, go. The opponent does really have nice defense against my 2-drop. Don't think I'm attacking with it. I think it's better off with the Goblin Smuggler. He's probably going to attack in for 2. Hopefully he doesn't have a million life gain. If he plays Dawning Angel next turn, I think I'm kind of screwed. I think he's leaving mana up for counter spells, and so I should just play around it. Maybe offer the attack with the Ember Cat and see what happens. I'm fine if he double blocks here, so definitely has something going on. So he's probably going to befuddle and double block. Bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but I have Dagger Cell Aeronaut I can resolve now to play around Bone to Ash. Miscreant is pretty annoying. Okay, so now what? I think I have a Shock, which is pretty nice. So I could just play the Frostlinks out. He's probably going to counter it. Convolute's annoying. Okay, so now I can just shock away the Angel, which is fine. Attacking for 3 with the Aeronauts. Yeah. The Unchained Berserker has protection from white, so I can keep blocking his 1-drops if he does offer the... Actually, I could have kept attacking this last turn, simply because of protection of white, so I didn't see that. Okay, bit of a misplay. So I can attack with the Unchained Berserker. Bit of a misplay. I could have gotten in a bunch of damage, but now that I see it as protection from white, I think I just play it out. I'm not going to play around second Convolutes. I need to develop the board, pushing a bunch of damage. So he might just leave a Miscreant behind to block the 3-1, but I'm happy that I got in 3 damage. It was a bit of a misplay that I didn't attack with this earlier. He's attacking the 1-drop, which I don't think it's a good choice. Cerulean Drake has protection from red, so he can block this forever. Do we just attack all out? I think I can afford to attack with Lavakin and Dagger Cell Aeronauts. That's worth it. I'm fine if he chumps this. So how do I deal with the Cerulean Drake? I can't really deal with it at all. So I'm fine trading 1 for 1. Yeah, let's trade it off. Yeah. So I can't really deal with the Cerulean Drake except for sleep paralysis, but I think I'm fine. gonna keep land in the hand. I can easily block his 1-drops. But I need to start top decking creatures here. Don't have any good attacks. I can shock this to prevent 1 damage, but I think I'd rather shock something else more relevant. Embercat seems fine, so now I have 2 attackers going, and if he decides to double block the Embercat next turn, I can easily shock it off. Do I shock if he plays Miscreant? Probably. Just because I can avoid the card draw and prevent another 1/1 onto the battlefield. So yeah, I guess I can then summon this turn and attack in for a bunch, and I think I'm just going to do that. Let's just do it. I want to get in for a bunch of damage. I think it's a mistake for him attacking the 1-drop, given that he is a good block on Unchained Berserker. So he's definitely chumping here. I'm fine if he takes all this damage. Yeah, let's just punch it for 5. Next turn is probably lethal. I think I'm saving shock for the face now. Metropolis Sprite is pretty annoying. So now what? The Cerulean Drake has a good block on the Lavakin Brawler. Miscreant has a good block against the Unchained Berserker. Sprite has a good block against the 2/2. So, okay, I don't understand why he's attacking. I don't really think that's a good play. So I guess I can shock the Metropolis Sprite. Then he will have to block. Yeah, let's just shock the Sprite. Get rid of it. Because he has a triple block anyway on all my creatures. I can push in for 2 damage next turn. Okay, I'm liking this Fire Elemental. I think I'm going to play land and then cast it. He could have Counterspell, but I think I have to play this first just to give the Lavakin more damage. Let's just attack. He can trade off for the 3. He can block the 3/1, block the 5/5, but I get 2 damage in. Next turn, if he doesn't have an extra blocker, it's lethal. And he doesn't really have a good... Okay, Masterful Replication's annoying. Now what? Ooh, Goblin Smuggler. Alright. Excellent. Give our Lavakin evasion, attacking for a bunch. Yep. Red is pretty busted in this format. Not gonna lie. That Cerulean Drake was a clutch attack that worked really well against me. Other than that, it would have been great. It wouldn't have been great in the other colors, or if I got sleep paralysis. I don't think it's a great card overall, to be honest. Yeah, easy Izzet. Let's just run the opponent over. Pretty dumb deck, but in M20, this is how you usually win. You just make a bunch of dumb attackers. Expensive cards can be quite problematic, to be honest, but yeah. In Limited, you usually just want to keep the curve low and beat up the opponents. Sure, you can end up drafting a control deck, but you get more victories drafting aggro or mid-range beatdown decks. I think I would have been happy with a second Scorch Spitter, but in the other games, the opponent played out enough blockers that I don't think it's too relevant. Okay, we have 2-drop and the 3-drop. I like this. I can easily crack the Evolving Wilds for maybe a second red. I think having 1 blue should be enough in this game. I don't need to search on island right away. Besides, I'm on the draw. I'm happy having a 2-drop on 2. Opponent has Shock ready. I could play red to represent Shock, but I'd rather just have my mana consistently and reliably that I'm just going to play the Evolving Wilds. And the turn, I'm definitely sacking for a Mountain to have Outrage online on turn 4 at least, in case I magically end up drawing triple mountain, triple island, so let's just play the mountain. So now the question is, do I shock this or do I develop the Embercat? I might consider shocking this, maybe, because he could ramp out something big that I can't deal with next turn. but he could play something more threatening, maybe a creeping trailblazer. So yeah, let's play the Ember Cat. Let's try to do. And I'm fine if he attacks. I'm willing to trade because I really don't have anything to ramp into, to be honest. He could have a combat trick, which I'm fine with him using up on. I can just easily play the Smuggler next turn and leave up mana for the removal spells. But he might be looking to ramp out Lavakin in that case. Yeah. Do I want to trade and shock away? Probably not. I think I'm just going to play the Island. Maybe play the Smuggler. Give this Evasion. Attack in for 2. I can deal with this Lavakin next turn. Do I want to Sleep Paralysis or Outrage it? I think I want to Outrage it. It's possible that he could have a bigger creature and that I need to contend with, and I'd rather just cast a Sleep Paralysis. Okay, another Lavakin, so I'm kind of behind in this battle, but luckily I have double removal spell, which can deal with this pretty efficiently. So he's just going to attack here. Yeah, I'm losing this race, but I think I can eventually get there. Yeah, let's just play the Outrage. Next turn we can shock and Sleep Paralysis. Opponent could have his own Outrage, but... Okay, he's going Teamer, so he's probably splashing a Risen Reef, perhaps. But I'm going to have to endure this, and hopefully he doesn't top deck something bigger. Otherwise, I'll have to try to do some weird blocking strategies the turn after. He could have Counterspell, but I honestly don't think I play around it. So let's see. Would I rather have one blue up or a red up for shock? Let's attack first. If he has Convolute up, what happens? Do I play around it by keeping the Sleep Paralysis in hand and then unsummoning this? I mean, he's looking like an aggressive deck that maybe doesn't have Convolute. Let's say he flashes in something, I can easily just unsummon it off the bat. Yeah, I don't think I'm playing around Convolute. Let's just Sleep Paralysis this. Now I can keep up Shock, perhaps, to deal with the Ember Cat. He could have a Pump Spell. So yeah, maybe I'm fine doing it on when he attacks on his turn. He could do something like play a creature first. I mean, he could use this as ramp, but I don't think that's too relevant. I think he can cast anything now that he has all the mana. He has 5 lands up. It could be wrong that he could have a 6-drop that he's ramping into, but Infuriate. Okay, I guess I can shock down on the stack now. He might have another combat trick, but I think he's trying to push for lethal with the Infuriate. Okay, luckily I played around. He could have the Uncaged Fury up with the Infuriates. So luckily I played around it and I shocked it on his turn for the blowout. Now I can easily unsummon whatever he plays and punch in for 4 next turn. Okay, Fortress Crab is annoying, but I think we can get there. Guess I have Scorch Spitter, which is nice, but I'm definitely attacking with both. I don't care if he blocks one; it doesn't make a difference because I'm giving one. I would be tapping the Goblin Smuggler down anyways. So, oh, he's just gonna take 4. Okay, he probably has a combat trick that he's gonna use with the 1/6. I can easily block with a Scorch Spitter or unsummon it if he tries something weird. Anticipate, okay. I think he's trying to go for a blowout with a combat trick. But luckily Unsummon is a good card that we have in hand to deal with this problem. If he attacks, what happens? I'm probably going to let it slide and then he can play a million pump spells. Lavakin Brawler, okay. So now what? I guess I unsummon the Lavakin. Yeah, let's just do it. I guess I'm just gonna attack with everything, and it's lethal pretty much. Even he blocks the 1 for getting through, so good game. Unsummon is an excellent card. Jeez, didn't realize how great it was in aggro. So it was good sticking with Izzet, to be honest, because we wouldn't have the solid removal that we would have had if we stuck with red, green, Gruul. So yeah, another dumb best out of 1 game, but definitely happy with the result here. Yeah, let's play. Alright, 2-drop into 3-drop, and we're on the draw. I think I'm fine with this hand. Alright, liking the land, represents shock in red. Then we can cast a 2-drop. He could have raised the alarm next turn, but again, this is protection from white. So this is a fine, good card in this matchup, given that the opponent is dual white. Because now I can easily, this easily has protection from white, and it can easily attack through. Doesn't have raised the alarm. Let's see, might have a second color and play another color this turn. That's fine, I can easily just cast the Goblin Smuggler and give this evasion and attack. So black is open, now what? I guess I'm just playing land, play Smuggler and attack. I think it's worth it attacking for 5, even though he could have raised the alarm. Yeah, definitely worth it. Now he could have the Aerial Assault, which is okay. Raptor is annoying, but let's think here. I guess I can play land. I can shock this away and attack for 5, which is pretty brutal. And then Infuriate. Yeah, let's just shock it. Get this out of the way. This deck is pretty dumb. Opponent is tapped out, so I don't really care. Do I Infuriate? Probably not. Not yet. Not until I know for sure I have a clean attack on. I have a clean victory on the opponent. Manifold Key is not a good card. Daybreak Chaplain I can definitely destroy. I have protection from white, so the Unchained Berserker doesn't do much. I think I'm just going to leave my Goblin Smuggler behind, I guess. Maybe cast a 5-drop or the flyer. Yeah, let's attack for the Unchained Berserker. I think I want the flyer out just to have the evasion over the 5-drop, and I can leave up the Infuriate anyways, so I don't think a Daybreak Chaplain is enough to warrant his strategy. Opponent is flooding out only through 3 spells, so he's kind of behind. The key doesn't do anything. Sure, he can. I'm probably just going to take the attack if he attacks. He could have a pump spell, but I don't really care because I'm winning the long game. He could gain a bunch of life, but I don't care. Cutthroat is a bit obnoxious, but I can totally deal with that. Alright, so now what? Guess we just give the Unchained Berserker evasion. I think I'm fine. And then next I'll just Infuriate for lethal. And I'm definitely infuriating the Unchained Berserker given that he has double whites. Just to get protection. Don't think there's any tricks that he can use. Yep, so yeah, this deck is pretty stupid. Not gonna lie. Guess this is our easy way to climb up to Mythic. We're already Platinum Tier 3 with this dumb aggro deck. Let's move on. Alright, 3 more games, 3 more wins. I think we can get there with 7. I'm surprised. I dropped a lot of best out of 1, and I've drafted cards with a lot of late game bombs and such, but they've never been too good compared to just drafting a dumb aggro deck with a bunch of 1-drops, 2-drops, and 3-drops. Magic can be a funny game sometimes. Alright, I get 2-drop into Chandra. Yeah, let's do it. With a blue up for Frostlinks. Definitely liking this hand. Okay. If I don't get a 3rd land, I definitely need a 3rd land actually to ramp out Chandra, but Spectral Sailor is a bit annoying. I can eventually kill that off with Chandra, which I'm planning to do eventually, so. Opponent's in the mirror, blue-black control. He's going to punch in for 1, probably follow it with a 2-drop. If it was a Blood Burglar, I'm going to hate it. Okay, Bow, I don't really care too much about. It can be a bit annoying if he has 2 of them. But now I think I'm fine with the Ember Cat. Next turn I can play land and ping off the Spectral Sailor so he doesn't get a card draw. Frostlinks is annoying. So let's think here. Do I want to Chandra? Let's see. So if I play land here, what happens? Well, I can't even tap it out anyways. So I think I can keep up a 2-drop and with Infuriate and say go. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I have no reason to play Goblin Smuggler, to be honest. Or the Frostlinks. I don't really care about tapping down a 2-2 at the end of the day. Okay, so he's going to attack. I don't think I care. He could play double bow. Okay. So he's going to attack and probably ping off a 2-drop. I can easily Infuriate and trade it off. I think it's worth it, maybe. I might 2-for-1 myself. Is it worth it? Like, everything else dies to the bow, so yeah, let's just go for it. And let's just trade this off. Then I 2-for-1 myself, but at least I can try to play out Chandra and kill off the Spectral Sailor.
Pyromancy puts a little sizzle in my step.
So I think this play was worth it. I do 2-for-1 myself, but at least I keep the board clear and he doesn't draw a bunch of cards. Oh, he doesn't play a big creature, and okay. I don't really care about that. I can easily deal with the Audacious Thief. I can tap it down and develop an Elemental instead next turn, but I'd rather just ping this to death. Yeah, let's -2 on this. Next turn I can keep plussing,
I'm gonna try something new.
keeping the outrage up, attacking for 4. I have outrage and frostlings to deal with their bigger threats. Opponent's out on playables. Embodiment is not a card I care too much about. Because now, yeah, I could get in the opponent. Who cares? God BM the opponent sometimes. And then now you can plus Chandra.
Time to turn up the
Attacking
heat.
for 6. So bows can be busted, but luckily we answered all the opponent's threats. Now whatever he plays, I can easily frostlings. So yeah. I think I played against his opponent before. He loved drafting bows. I think one time he had 4 bows out without a weaponsmith and he just won the game on spot. So yeah, M20 can be high variance due to the fact that the opponent could just top deck all their bows and win the game. But whatever. Senate Guildmage is a fine card. Alright, 2 more wins. Let's get this 7-0 and let's move on. If we took the outrage over the Chandra in our pack one the rest pack, I think this game would have been much more different. I think the Chandra being able to ping out 2 of his 2 toughness creatures definitely had a lot more upside than a single outrage. But an outrage would have been good anyways. But yeah, Chandra is definitely really good and is probably slightly better than the outrage card, to be honest. I guess opponent's going first. We're on the draw. I think we can get a 2-drop. Hopefully bank on it. Because I don't think I'm really mulligan's hand with Chandra on 4 and Lavakin on 4. So let's just keep this. I think turn 1 we're gonna Evolving Wilds and crack it for an island. So yeah, let's just pass here. I want to crack the land first. Simply so I can thin out my deck by 1 card. It can make a slight percentile difference for getting our 2-drop on curve. So yeah, let's just do this. Don't think I need double mountain. Given that we have 2 already, we can cast our red creatures reliably. So no 2-drops here. That's a bummer. I guess I can start by playing a mountain. Or I can cover the info by keeping myself in blue. Yep, let's do that. Don't need double red until turn 4 with the outrage, so opponent's playing in a blue-black grindy control deck. I'm definitely going to frostlink stats, maybe set up a nice Chandra next turn, simply because I don't want to draw a card, and I need a playable out there, so he could just play land pass if he doesn't have any playables. You should have a playable by now. There's a Diamond Knight, which I don't really give a crap about. Now what? Let's say we play land. I don't think it's outrage. I think it's better to just play Chandra and ping off the Audacious Thief. He is mentioning black, so he could have Disfigure up.
Worlds. So many opportunities to get
But
lost.
I really don't want him drawing a card. Let's just ping out the Audacious Thief here. He could have Disfigure up, end of turn, to pump the Diamond Knights, and then he can pump it again the turn after. And kill off my Chandra, but I'm willing to take the risk that he doesn't. Yeah, it's probably Disfigure here. Okay, so hopefully he doesn't top deck another black card, or else he's going to take out Chandra. In that case, I probably need to pull the trigger on the Outrage. Well, yep, he has it. Well, bye-bye, Chandra. Now Tomebound Lynch can gain them a bunch of card draw.
I can't stay, but trust that I haven't given up on you.
Is it possible that he plays double Outrage? Let's think here. So I can play the Lava Kin and then leave up Infuriate against the Diamond Knight. I think that's better. I'm fine if he gains a life and loses away the land, but I think I can outrage this Tomebound Lich instead and get a better block and trade. There's a chance he could just murder this and I make a huge misplay and I need to, yeah. Alright, that was pretty dumb. Yeah, I have to let that resolve. I'm gonna take 5 here and then I guess I have to outrage this Diamond Knight and maybe trade off for the Tomebound Lich later. I think I'm just going to outrage main phase, just so he doesn't, in response, just grow the Diamond Knight. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Do I play out the land? Probably not. He could have a Fen Lurker, but now he has a way to loot away cards, and he has a good trade on my Aeronaut. Hopefully my Shock deals with whatever plays. He's drawing 2, which is pretty bad for us. Now he can just easily loot away his other playables. So yeah, so definitely I should have outraged maybe that turn on the Diamond Knight. But Lava, I mean the. Okay, I'm definitely shocking that. Just to prevent life gain in the 2/2 on the body board. And now, yeah, now I can easily trade off with the Aeronaut. I think I'm fine trading it off with the Tomebound Lich and then try to win the Ember Cat and then play the other big creatures. I need to get rid of this simply because it's going to keep looting away and making his draw steps much better and gaining him life. So it would suck if he top decks the Soul Salvage and he gets it back. That would be quite unfortunate. Or he could have a removal spell. Anything can happen, to be honest. So maybe he has another murder. Okay, an Octoprophet. I can easily just use the Infuriate to trade off against the Octoprophet pretty well. But here, if he offers an attack, I'm definitely going to block with the 3/2 and get the trade off simply so he doesn't gain life and loot away and improve his draw steps. Could be kind of bad simply because I'm the aggro deck, but I'm kind of behind right now, so I like the Unchained Berserker. I think I can attack, and if he blocks, I can just Infuriate because I need to start punching in damage. Because I can just Infuriate the Unchained Berserker anyways. I mean, I guess I'm fine taking 3, to be honest. He could have Murder up. Maybe I'm fine taking 3 next turn and then just racing the opponent from here. I don't really need to Infuriate defensively, but now I think I might. He could have Murder up, but I can't really play around it at this point. Yeah. I need to get through his blocker eventually, so hopefully he just floods out, but opponent did discard 3 lands, so he should have a lot of playables coming. Double Tomebound Lynch is pretty busted. Don't think I can handle that unless I top deck my another removal spell. Perhaps a Sleep Paralysis off the bat can be pretty nice. Cutthroats. Okay, Unsummon can be okay. Guess I'm fine attacking with the Unchained Berserker. Okay, I like this. Yeah, let's do the trade. Next turn he attacks, what happens? I guess I'm fine taking it. I don't really need to unsummon this. He is gaining 1 per turn and looting something away, but maybe he doesn't want to loot the card away. He'd rather just play it out. Opponent dealt with all our playables, and we're kind of behind on life total, and we're not really killing them. I think I'm just going to let the attack slide. He's just going to play defense for now. That's fine. Keeping a land to play around discard. I might just flat out here and lose. Who knows? I need a powerful 6-drop. Definitely can't unsummon that because he's just gonna keep drawing cards. So I think this might just be game over. Opponent's just gonna draw a million cards in the late game. And this opponent drafted a pretty powerful deck. So I don't think he drafted anything stupid. He probably has all the removal spells, probably like Double Murder or Scholar of the Ages that maybe I can just concede right here. Yeah, I think I'm fine conceding. I don't think I can win from here. He definitely drafted a powerful deck, so I'm not going to waste my time trying to bank on the fact that he drafted a crappy deck and I can just win by top decking all my cards and hoping that he makes bad blocks and playing bad creatures. So do I keep this? I do have a 3-drop. Yeah, I think I keep. I can eventually, maybe I top deck a 2-drop. If not, I'm still fine. Any four lands give me access to the Lavakin Brawler, but I do like Goblin Smuggler into Goblin Smuggler. I think that's pretty powerful. Okay, opponent's gonna be ahead in the race. Oh, I have a shock up, so I think it's fine just playing it out now. I can easily attack this. I don't think I trade. I think I take the 3. Simply because I have shock up to deal with this 1-drop next turn if I top deck a land. If he does attack, I can easily so Goblin Smuggler probably has to go over the Unchained Berserker. Like, I can deal with this later. It does deal a little bit more damage, but I think the Unchained, I think the Goblin Smuggler is a lot more annoying compared to the Lavakin Brawler. That I'm just gonna shock it here. I mean, I could leave a Goblin Smuggler up, but I'm dealing 4 per turn compared to 3. So I think I'm going to be a little bit ahead in the race. I'm just going to attack here. Another smuggler. Okay, so we're definitely going to play the game of racing the opponent here. Oh, I do have a Novice Pyromancer up, which looks pretty nice. Do I play it? I can probably do it the turn later, so I'm just going to take 3 next turn. Like, if I play out Pyromancer, what happens? I'm probably going to have to leave a 2-drop up to protect Chandra and trade for the Unchained Berserker. But if I play the Lavakin, he could just make the 3-1 unblockable. It's possible that he has an Outrage that I need to deal with. Yeah, let's play the Novice Pyromancer. Do I attack in any sense?
I think I'm a decent enough Pyromancer.
Probably not. He could have a removal spell. In that case, I need something to block the Unchained Berserker.
I call my fist
So maybe I play maybe I just keep both untapped and offer to trade when he attacks with it. I think that might be better, just to have insurance with Chandra anyways. And he might just be forced to attack. Yeah, so see, if I didn't leave a Goblin Smuggler up, Chandra would be dead, but now I get to trade off for the 3-1. Definitely trading here. Now Chandra is excellent. The fact that now I can just ping off the Frostlinks is pretty nice. I mean, I don't have to ping it off, but I think I do anyways, just to get rid of the 2-drop. And now I can cast a Fire Elemental. Yep. Seems pretty powerful. And I can use the extra plus next turn. Well, Frostlinks is stupid, but still fine. Pack Mastiff is dumb. So let's see here. We could play the removal spell on the Pack Mastiff. Let's think. If I play Lavakin Brawler, what happens? He might have an Outrage, and Chandra dies. If I Sleep Paralysis on the Pack Mastiff, he could still have removal, and Chandra dies. So I think I'd rather just develop the Lavakin here. I think I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to plush with Chandra. get her loyalty up. I might just offer to trade with the Goblin
Gosh,
Smuggler
look at all
because
these friends.
I have bigger creatures anyways and a sleep paralysis to deal with whatever he plays, so. I have some really good blocks here and good attacks, so. He could have a pump spell, but I think it's fine if he trades a pump spell for Lavakin because I can just ping off his 2-drop next turn. Okay, so Chandra's going to die anyways, but whatever. I think I'm fine trading off the Pack Mastiff for the Goblin Smuggler for the Pack Mastiff. He could have Infuriates, but whatever. Let's just go. Yep. But now I have some
Way too
powerful
much for me to
creatures on
handle.
board. Do I save the sleep paralysis? Probably. So now what? Think I'm definitely attacking with the Fire Elemental. I don't care about the double block, to be honest. He is going to take in a bunch of damage. Now, what do I sleep paralysis? Do I take 6 here? I think I probably need a sleep paralysis at 2/2, simply because the Ember Caller has a chance to deal 6 damage to me. Simply because he can sacrifice this. But right now, I think I'm ahead in the race if he doesn't have any playables. Yeah, so he can ping me down for 6 here. Hopefully he doesn't top deck any removal spells. The Frostlinks are getting pretty annoying. So now what? I think I might have to keep... I think I lose. I mean, if he attacks, what happens? I block 1, I take 4, and he sacrifices the Ember Hauler. So yeah, I think it's game over. If we top decked another playable, it would have been a better... But triple Frostlinks pretty much won the opponent the game, so... Just kind of unfortunate there. Hopefully we get to 6-3 or 6-2 or 7-2. I think I might be just happy with 5, to be honest. But kind of unfortunate on the last game we couldn't top deck a playable to put another blocker in front of the Frostlinks. Chandra would have won us the game if he didn't have the other Frostlinks to tap down our big creatures blockers. Maybe it was fine not blocking that turn. I mean, just leaving up the 5-drop to block, but I had to race the opponent regardless in that situation. And dealing 5 is really good, so... Alright, I think, yeah, this is a definite keep. With Embercat on 2 and 3 lands, I can definitely get to my 4-drop Lavakin Brawlers. Ripscale Predator might take some time, but it's a good curve topper in the late game if we get there. So I do like this hand a lot. Probably gonna sacrifice for Mountain end of turn. Say hello to the opponents. Opponent could have Disfigure up, which could be quite unfortunate, because this would really help me ramp out Chandra, but I'm taking my risk and just going to play out the Embercat here. Definitely second Mountain is much more preferable over a 3rd Island. Okay, yeah, let's play out the Embercat. Keep ourselves in red to hide the fact that we're going blue. Disfigure could be up. Opponent has priority, he probably has Disfigure. Yeah, oh well. I guess we're going to have to delay our... Oh, he's Blade Branding. Okay, just a cycle. He could Disfigure this turn. Who knows? He could leave Murder up. Audacious Thief is powerful. Do I offer to trade? Probably. Actually, I just want to ramp out Lavakin. He could have Blade Brand, but I'm fine blocking his... And, you know, having him Cutthroats. I can just easily follow up with another 4-drop. Ferocious Pup I don't care too much about. I guess this turn I can just attack and play a 4-drop. And if he double blocks, I can easily unsummon to, do I attack with both? Probably not. I could play the second Lavakin Brawler, to be honest, to push in for 5. I missed out on a point of damage, unfortunately. Okay, he's chomping anyway, so... Yep. Let's play the second Lavakin. It's possible that I could have left 1 mana up for Unsummon, but... yeah, I think I should have, but... To play around Blade Brand, I could just tap the Embercat down. Use up 1 blue for the Unsummon. I think that would have been better. Ferocious Pup I don't care about. The opponent's just going to play a million Ferocious Pups. Now I think I can just attack with both Lavakins. Play the Frostlings, tap down to 2/2, say go. Oh, Fire Elemental looks powerful. But I think I'm attacking with both anyways. Is there any reason to attack with the Embercat? Yeah, let's just attack with both. Do I just let damage happen? Nah, I'm fine on summoning. Just puts the opponent behind, and he has to basically... Now what? Yeah, I think I like the Frostlings on the 2/2. Keeps down the blocker, prevents him from attacking. Say go. Opponent is behind on 3 mana, and I have a whole board of creatures. I might just let him attack with the Audacious Thief. I don't think I care if he draws a card, because he is going to lose a life and fall behind. Okay, so yeah. Sometimes in Limited, if you're stuck in land and you lose in the best out of 1, it feels pretty bad. So MTG Arena should honestly make best out of 3 ranked. I think that's much more preferable over the best out of 1. What's this red? I have no idea. So yeah, let's just finish this off with 7 wins. 6 wins, I'm fine. I'm still gonna upload this video. But yeah, it's better off if MTG made best out of 3. The ranked format, I think, is much more fair. That's the word I was trying to say. Fair compared to best out of 1. Definitely, this is not even a debatable thing. Best out of 3 is just much more better, simply due to the sideboard mechanics and not getting rush cheesed out by opponents' aggro decks when you can side and stuff against it. Especially if you're just a slower deck in a mirror match. But yeah, Chandra's Embercat definitely overperforming. Unsummon is definitely an overperformer. 2-drop into 3-drop. We're on the draw. Yeah, let's say go. Goblin Smuggler can just give the Unchained Berserker evasion. So he has red going on. So he's definitely playing aggro. Let's see what his 2-drop is. If it's Embercat, I just might shock it because I don't really want to. Might just shock this. I think it's a fine shock target. Puts him behind on tempo. Okay, we missed down a Scorch Spitter on 1, but that's fine. I think I'm fine playing out the blue for now. Play out the Unchained Berserker. Pretty much playing a mirror match for the most part. Opponent might just put up a 1-drop blocker. Okay, I don't really care about the Frostlinks. I think I'm just going to play out the Goblin Smuggler, say go. I don't really want to trade off with the Frostlinks. Simply because it's... it has a lot more upside. And at the end of the day, Frostlings is a 2/2. I think I might be playing against the opponent that beat me earlier with the triple Frostlings. Yeah, I am playing against them. Do I just attack with the Unchained Berserker? I think so. Okay, shock. I don't really care. Now I do have a nice Lavakin Brawler to follow up to block the 2/2s, which is pretty excellent. I can follow with another one next turn after I attack with this one. Okay, I guess I might have to play some more defense now, given that the opponent's just making a million Frostlinkses. So now what? I can just play Scorched Bitters, play Lavakin, say go. And I just play out the Fire Elemental. It can block a bunch of his 2/2s. Is this the 4th Frostlinks? Oh wow, 4 Frostlinkses? So do I trade off the Goblin Smuggler? I think I might now at this point if he's attacking for 6. I don't have any good attacks anyways later, but yeah, I need to prevent damage. But I can follow with another. Okay, I do have the Novice Pyromancer, but I think I really want to attack with the 2-4 this turn, simply because this is a lot of damage if he doesn't block. I already have a 2-4 behind on defense anyways, so let's get this going. The problem with playing 4 Frostlings is that now these get blocked pretty easy by 4 toughness creatures. Maniacal Rage, okay, I might just let that through, I don't really care. Another Maniacal Rage, okay, I might just chump block one of them, to be honest. Because it can't block anyways, I think I'm going to chump block one of them. Is it lethal next turn? Okay, so let's say I take 8, and I play Chandra next turn, what happens? I can minus on a 2-2, and how much damage is this? I think it's lethal. 5, yeah, it's lethal. Ooh, I even have Infuriate, so, yep. Let's go for it.
So many new worlds. So many opportunities to get
Alright.
lost.
Well, it's time to upload this stupid draft video. Let's put it on our stupid YouTube site. And hopefully someone in the near future, or someone even remotely curious, will just, will take a look at this. So yeah, fun, stupid deck. Always drafting aggro and M20 just apparently gets you 7 wins in this best out of 1 format. So, yep, gonna upload this video and have a great day, guys.